Well, thank you very much, Senator Carney. Thank you to all members of the panel. I appreciate the opportunity and your interest in this, and of course to everybody that's watching, their interest. And we feel exactly the same way that you do, that this is the issue, one of the defining issues of our age. We have a duty to get, whether it's affordability or whether it's just literal connectability, across our state, across the Commonwealth, across the country. This absolutely has to be done. And so we are looking to partner and collaborate with the Commonwealth. Obviously, I'm very honored to represent the district that we're sitting in. This is the 10th District of Pennsylvania, and you know, this is my, I used to work here in the House of Representatives as well. So, you know, but the issues, I think a lot of people, when you hear broadband, you hear about rural broadband and the lack of access in rural areas, and that's absolutely true. But there are access issues right here in the city of Harrisburg as well, and it might not be for the same reason. The broadband may be there, but it's affordability, or it might be the speed and the technology associated with the broadband. And unfortunately, from my perspective as a proud member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, where we would deal with the funding that would assist in the policies regarding the infrastructure build-out of broadband, we have not produced a viable product out of Washington, D.C. Essentially, we spent a year and a half not doing a transportation and infrastructure bill, and I don't have to tell the members of the panel here that infrastructure is one of those issues on a bipartisan basis that cuts across those bipartisan divisions. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody in between know that we have citizens that are paying, that are supportive, and that want their needs to be met. But there is a timing issue to get these things accomplished, and unfortunately we didn't meet that, and we did finally move a bill out after about a year and a half, but unfortunately didn't have bipartisan support. It was, you know, I hate to discuss this among everybody, but I'm sure the people on the panel understand the mechanics, the process of it. So after the markup, what we consider a markup, where you make the amendments to the bill in committee, and the week that went in between that and when it went to the floor, $1 trillion was added to the bill in 1,400 pages to read right before the vote on the House floor, and that makes it, you know, unfortunate. So we missed the mark on that, and we're going to absolutely have to come back on that. And I think that everybody is waiting to see what happens this November, to see what the makeup will be, and then what kind of arrangements we can move forward. But we are absolutely committed, I think, certainly in Washington, D.C., on both sides of the aisle, to move forward to deal with all the issues. I'm so happy to be joined by the commissioner here today. And one of the other issues that I hope that he will discuss, actually two of them. One is net neutrality and the effects of financing for the companies that actually provide the hardware. It costs a lot of money, and you have to have a return on investment. And the policies that come out of Washington, D.C., whether legislative or by rulemaking, have a great impact. And we saw that the net neutrality had a chilling effect from a financing standpoint across the Commonwealth and across the country. And so we stopped literally building out because we couldn't afford to do so. There was no return on investment. And the other thing is the security side of 5G. We don't want to be building out a network that is obsolete as it's being constructed. And unfortunately, we're dealing with what's not. I know it's oftentimes been described as a strategic competitor in China, but China is definitely a strategic adversary, if unfortunately not a strategic enemy, and certainly in this space. And so the architecture of 5G, we cannot rely on Huawei or ZTE or other Chinese firms for the architecture. We cannot allow them to have access to Americans' data and then use that to America's disadvantage. And while they have run out and bought out or simply dumped into the market and bankrupted their competitors across the globe, we're going to have to take some time and some careful thought about how the United States government promotes production of that stuff in a free market by free countries, but not only production of it that does not mirror the exact same technology as the Chinese technology, because even though it might be by another name, it's still vulnerable if it is the exact same architecture. And I hope the the commissioner will speak to that a little bit, but I'm very much privileged to be here with you today, and I'm happy to have the discussion with you. Thank you very much for the invitation.